What's good, everybody? We are back with the second half of the conference finals previews. Today, it's all about the Eastern Conference. Boston Celtics versus the Miami Heat, best of 7 to see who's going to represent the East in the NBA Finals. I want to give a quick shout out to the Heat because they're making history as well. As an 8 seed, being able to make it this far coming from the play-in tournament is major. Shout out to Coach Eric Spoelstra, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, all of those guys, man, because honestly, nobody thought they would make it this far, especially after the injury they had to Tyler Hero. Everybody really counted them out. So shout out to them for that. But let's talk about these Eastern Conference Finals real quick. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button below and hit that notification bell. And also drop a like on the video and show your boy some love. The very first thing that I want to touch on with this series is the Jimmy Butler versus Jaylen Brown / Jayson Tatum matchup, because I feel like both of those guys are going to be checking Jimmy Butler the most throughout the series. I feel like it'll be more so Jaylen Brown because he's a little bit bigger than Jayson Tatum, even though Jayson Tatum is a couple inches taller. But I just really want to see the defensive strategy that the Celtics come with when it comes to guarding Jimmy Butler. Obviously, we know Jimmy Butler has been putting up 30 the entire playoffs. That's his average right now, averaging 31.1 to be exact. He's been putting up big numbers throughout the entire playoffs, and I definitely feel like he's going to have a game or two where he's going to drop 35, maybe even 40 plus points, and those two games might be two games that the Heat end up winning in the series. But I'm definitely looking forward to see the way that Joe Mazzulla is going to come at Jimmy Butler defensively. I feel like for him, he's going to have to really put his mind to work when it comes to guarding Jimmy Butler, because Jimmy Butler can get to the basket. He's been shooting the three ball a lot lately, and he's also very good at kicking it out to teammates for open threes and other open opportunities. So I'm going to be very interested in seeing the way the Celtics play Jimmy Butler, because I feel like for them, they have to be able to slow down Jimmy Butler as best as they can, because I think for the Celtics, if they can't slow down Jimmy Butler, and let's say that the other, Miami Heat players are hitting shots and things like that, it might be a long series for the Celtics. So for the Celtics, they got to make sure that they come at Jimmy Butler with their best defensive strategy, rebound the basketball, because you got Bam Adebayo to worry about over there, and just be able to slow down Jimmy Butler as best as possible, because once you slow down Jimmy Butler, then him having to trust his other teammates and the other supporting cast members on the team, it might make it a little easier for the Celtics for sure. The next thing that I want to talk about, Jayson Tatum. Now, here's my problem with Jayson Tatum. Jayson Tatum is a great player, excellent. Honestly, the way he played in that Game 7 versus the 76ers, that's top 5 in the league material right there. When Jayson Tatum turns it on like that, he's unstoppable, as we all saw. 51 points, 6 threes, boards, all over the place. When he plays like that, he's unstoppable. But this cannot be a series where Jayson Tatum, has a tour date in shooting. And we all know what a tour date is. It's when, Jayson Tatum might go 3 for 14, or he might go, 6 for 20 something, things like that. It's like, it's a play on words, a tour date basically, because that's what it looks like in the box score. He cannot have a game like that. If he has a game like that, I almost guarantee Miami wins that game. He cannot have a game like that. Even though we know Jaylen Brown is pretty good at, if Jayson Tatum is struggling, Jaylen Brown usually has a good game in those particular games, but sometimes it's just not enough. So for Jayson Tatum, he has to be consistent throughout this entire series. There cannot be a game where he has a bad shooting night. Even though we know it's probably going to happen, maybe 9 times out of 10, because it's happened almost once a game in every series so far. Even in Game 6 against Philadelphia, where he scored almost 20-something points in the fourth quarter, he had a terrible shooting night in the first 3 quarters of that game. He cannot have that. Even though he bounced back in that Game 6 against the 76ers, he cannot have one of those type of games against the Heat, because I feel like for the Heat, they're able to really take advantage of that, because when they see one guy struggling on the team, it amps their team up as a whole. The whole team just starts circulating on all cylinders. So I feel like for Jayson Tatum, this is a series where he cannot and should not have a tour date type of game, because if he does, the Heat are going to take advantage of that. And let's just hypothetically say if Jayson Tatum has multiple games like that, who knows? The Heat might end up winning the series if they take advantage of it in the right way. So Jayson Tatum has to come in focused, come in, be consistent, score 30 a night. Just score 30 a night. Just do that. You cannot have bad shooting nights in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, time for some X factors. One from each team, since we're talking about one series here. For me, with the Miami Heat, the X factor, well, actually, it's going to be more than one person for the Heat. It's the entire supporting cast of the Heat. That means it's Bam Adebayo, it's Kyle Lowry, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson, just to name a few guys. Those guys are the X factors for the Heat. Erik Spoelstra, I'm pretty sure, has a game plan in place to make sure that his guys are successful. So it's up to them to make sure that they, cooperate and make sure that they make those things happen so that the Heat can win. For the Celtics, the Celtics X factor is their head coach, Joe Mazzulla. I feel like he's the X factor because of this. He's a rookie head coach. This is his first conference finals, and he has a tough coaching matchup. You got Erik Spoelstra on the other side, multiple-time champion, been to the conference finals multiple times as well. We all know that Erik Spoelstra is a great coach. So I feel like for the Celtics, Joe Mazzulla, his adjustments, his rotations, things like that, they're going to play a huge factor in the result of this series, because I feel like Erik Spoelstra, since he's been here before, he has the experience. Jimmy Butler has been here before. Bam Adebayo as well has been here before. A lot of their core guys have been in this position before. So I feel like for the Celtics, Joe Mazzulla is going to have to come with his best when it comes to strategies, adjustments, and rotations. Those are my X factors for this series. Now it's time for my pick, and I'm just going to get straight to it. I'm rolling with the Celtics in no more than 6 games. I feel like if this series was to go 6 games, it would be 2 games that the Heat steal, maybe one on the road, one at home, maybe one of those games where Jimmy Butler turns up and Jayson Tatum is struggling. Maybe one of the supporting cast members on the Heat has a wonderful game of like 25, maybe 30 points or something like that. But I don't see this series going no more than 6 games. And the Celtics are going to win this series for sure. This is where the injury of Tyler Hero is going to really, 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 really hurt the Heat, I feel like, because we all know Tyler Hero averages 20 points a night, can score the ball, shoot, spread the floor, things like that. And I feel like this series is where the Heat are really going to miss Tyler Hero. And in the long run of the series, it might make it easier for the Celtics to end it even sooner than 6 games. So we'll see what happens, but I'm definitely rolling with the Celtics in 6 games in this series, no more than 6 games. I really want to say Celtics in 5, but I'm also, showing respect to the Heat and the season that they've had by, saying I don't see it going no more than 6 games. But at the end of the day, I'm rolling with the Celtics to win this series, which means I'm rolling with the most historic NBA Finals matchup in NBA history. Boston Celtics, LA Lakers. That's my prediction for the NBA Finals. Let me know what you all think down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back to talk about the NBA Finals once they come around. I'll catch y'all later. Enjoy yourselves.